Hey everybody, welcome to the Games Tavern Happy Hour. I'm Mac as usual, and this week I'm joined by Richard.
Hello.
So this week we have actually quite a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about this time. So I think it should be an interesting discussion on the news front at least. And then in the afterwards we're going to actually be talking to Richard and then Carly, where both of them just are in way too many games. So I want to know how they do that. We're going to pick their brains. As always, guys, if we say anything in the stream here while we're going that you think is really interesting or really cool and you want to know more about, please sound off in the chat, wherever that is for your screens there. And we will get to your comments as soon as we can. And if we missed any details or we missed any stories that you feel like are absolutely necessary for us to go over, let us know. I've probably seen it. Some things do have to get cut for time, unfortunately. But before, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first piece of news that caught my attention this week, and I know this is probably going to might not be the best audience for this, just because we're a big D&D Sword and Sorcery kind of group, but it's Starfinder's pre-painted minis they're coming out with the second batch of them, which is kind of a huge deal. Because for those of you who are unaware, Starfinder is basically Pathfinder's future. Like, it's actually in the same timeline, it's just way far future. And unfortunately, they have a lot of really weird races and classes and an odd aesthetic that you can't really just substitute in, a Flash Gordon miniature for. You kind of have to have the very specific space lizard with a cyber axe. And the first time that they came up with them, it was by Ninja Division was doing their initial run of minis, and they were impossible to find and very expensive. So it's very, and I'm saying this because I have these too much Starfinder stuff here, and you can't see it on that bookshelf over there. But I have a lot of Starfinder stuff I bought in hard on it, trying to run it, and it was hard without the support. I'm glad to see that Paizo is rectifying it, and they've coming out with 2 sets of miniatures right now. And I believe these might actually be good for, Travelers or Stars Without Numbers fan there, Richard?
Stars Without Number, because it reminds me of Traveler.
Okay. Well, luckily, both those are pretty open systems, right? Where you can play with whatever aliens you need to, or you want to have.
Oh, yeah, it's extremely open. There's only a very kind of broad brush of what's out there and what races. And, yeah, they're mostly humans, but you can sprinkle in whatever alien you want for the region you want to play.
Okay, cool. I think this will actually work out well for that, because there's the two mini sets for this one, or there's a hero set and a villain set. The hero set is all of the things that you've probably seen in Starfinder art before, where there's it's all the major races are involved, alien races are involved, and each of them is sort of an icon of their class. There's the weird bug person, Pellegrino sparkling water. There's the bug people. There's the giant space lizards. A whole bunch of really cool stuff there. Then my favorite set, however, is the second of the 2 of them, which is actually the villains set, and you get a space lich, which I'm really happy about. So it's a big. They call it a necrovite.
Liches really live forever, and it's well, no, but liches do live forever, and it's the future of the D&D setting. There could be 1,000-year-old liches who traveled into space in there.
Yeah, there's actually a whole planet of the undead where somebody did something. Elves are aliens in Pathfinder's universe. Just putting that out there. So they have a alien. They did like some basically plane stepping kind of thing before they realized that they were going planet to planet. And that's how they showed up in whatever Not the Forgotten Realms is in Pathfinder. But once you actually get out to the Starfinder stuff, which is just a hoot, I highly recommend picking up the book just to read it. There's some time where like somebody did a curse on this planet, or a ritual went wrong and it turned everybody into undead. So it's fun. But anyway, we are sort of off the reservation on that one. If you guys out in the chat world play Starfinder or are interested in Starfinder, let us know. Sound off. Check out the link there that we just posted up there. That's the blog post that Paizo said, hey, check it out. There's stuff here. Check it out, and you can see some of the cool sculpts there. And these are both of them are retailing for $34.99 for 6 miniatures. It's a little on the pricier side, but for a pre-paint that's made by WizKids, we all know that's pretty good quality stuff. It's good, and I'm just excited to see that actually coming up. So while you guys chew on that, we can go ahead and move on to the next piece of news because we got quite a bit today. And we were talking earlier about what games you had played, Rich, before we got the cameras rolling. And you had unfortunately said you have never played Hero Quest.
No, I haven't.
You played Talisman, which is not unlike Hero Quest in that they're both fantasy by Games Workshop. But if for the unindoctrinated, we have enough sound problem out there? Sound check 1, 2.
Yeah, it's dropping at the end of some of your sentences again.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just talk like this. Yeah, I have no idea how to adjust gain or anything. A little staticky. Okay. Sorry, just bear with me for a second while I try to make myself look presentable. Guys, I'm a professional. Just not at this. Or Richard has a fan. Something. Who knows? Okay, so everyone can hear us, and we'll just soldier on. So Hero Quest. If anybody out there has played Hero Quest, let us know in your chat box, because I want to make sure I'm not the only one out here who's nostalgia about this. But Hero Quest is basically the original Dungeons & Dragons board game, if I had to say that. That's probably the easiest way to describe it. It's a fantasy dungeon crawl board game where all the entire adventure takes place on a single. It was Milton Bradley, yes, but it was also Games Workshop Milton Bradley thing, collaboration, I guess. But the two of them made what would be recognizable today as a D&D dungeon crawl. It's really, really cool. It all takes place on a single board, but you adjust the rooms and the passageways by dropping in full-sized miniatures. And so you can put in a door or a wall or whatnot. So you could, while it looks like a pretty standard box or a pretty standard walk-around, you can get a whole bunch of really cool layouts. The reason I'm bringing this up is because earlier this month, and I'm kicking myself for not noticing it, but I also don't normally troll through the trademark registry, a organization called Restoration Games filed a trademark for Hero Quest Legacies. Restoration Games has done a bunch of old games that they've brought up that they sort of like revived. Like Fireball Island was one of I think the most recent one, but they've done a couple others like that. And the guy who is listed on this one, whose name I'm completely missing, was behind Risk Legacy and a couple other things like that. So I think it will be really interesting. So we have Dire Rabbit out there asking if either of us have played Gloomhaven. I have not. Have you, Rich?
No, I haven't, but I heard enough about it that I thought about getting into the crowdfunding for Frosthaven, which is a sequel / expansion / something.
Yeah, I think it's a spiritual sequel.
Yeah, I think if you and Rob hadn't been such a bad influence on me getting me to buy multiple new game systems, I probably would have done it.
Yeah, Gloomhaven's, I know a couple guys who went into that hard and did all of that. And they have Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, and Darkest Dungeon, I think was the... So there was a couple that came out in those really big boxes with 4,000 miniatures in them. And if you like painting miniatures, they're a great way to do it because there's some really cool sculpts in there. But I've never actually played any of them. Best I got, I think, was Descent, and that was a good time. Let's see, Dragon Strike. I never played Dragon Strike, but I believe Hero Quest actually predates that. So yeah, it's basically the news story here is that Hero Quest Legacy's trademark has been filed. That the company that is doing it, Restoration Games, has not come out and said, "Hey guys, we're doing this yet." It could just be a placeholder trademark. I'm really hoping it's not, because Hero Quest is a very popular, sort of a big fan favorite game, almost has a cult following on it. And intact copies go for $200, $300 on eBay. So if they can make this
So you
game...
said it was... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
you
go
said
ahead.
it was the original was a Milton Bradley Games Workshop stuff. So does that mean you've got two sets of corporate lawyers to deal with to get the rights?
Yes,
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, so hopefully that's where they're going with it. But yeah, it was, I believe the IP was Games Workshop. They did a couple Milton Bradley collabs. They also did one in space with Warhammer 40,000. And there's a couple weird ones like that, so I'm not a copyright lawyer, so I couldn't tell you exactly what they have going on there. But Yeah, it should be an interesting time. I like the game. It's really, really cool. But everyone's gambling, so haha, everyone's losing. That's not great. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to probably the biggest news item of the week, and we're sort of burying this in the center here because it's a big deal, and unfortunately we don't have a whole lot to say about it because it's a convention. So everybody out there knows about Gen Con. Unfortunately, this year it did get kicked to online just with everything going on. So the convention was kind of canceled, which is a shame. But then they looked at it and said, all right, well, we can't meet in person. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to meet online. So if you go to the website I'm about to drop in the chat right here, you have all the information you could possibly need for Gen Con online. Basically, you do have to still go online and sign up for a badge, but it's free. And then they're going to have stuff going on around the clock. I'm planning on jumping in on this one. I'm not going to be doing any of the events or the gaming. Are you planning on doing any of those, Richard?
No, I hadn't. I was planning to watch some of the streams and panels. Now, one thing I heard, at least one stream who's doing some stuff there, is you can sign up for the streams or the like it's panel discussions, which you don't have to sign up to go to the panel discussion. But if it's from a channel or a group of content creators you like, then signing up for it, I think, moves them up in the stats, and they may promote it to more people.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And you'll be able to, and be the first thing you see for that time slot when you go there. So it's probably worth signing up for the ones that are being put out by people you like their content.
Yeah, I need to dig a little bit more into it because unfortunately I didn't realize what week it was. I honestly thought it was still April, so sorry. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on Gen Con Online right there. They will have a couple of Twitch channels running, I believe, throughout the entire time, including one that's like Gen Con Main Stage, which is where you want to go. That's where all the really cool stuff is going to be happening. But there is also, everybody knows out there that the Exhibitors Hall is easily the coolest part of any of these conventions. And they are still having it. They're doing it, calling it the Looking Glass. And you can find that on the link that we posted there for you too. Basically, go there and check out the various things that are coming up. A lot of announcements usually come out at Gen Con, so I'm really excited to see what's happening. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure who's even going to be doing it this year. Everything's kind of changed, but it should be a cool time. If you've been to Gen Con, let us know. I've only really been to PAX Unplugged, Comic-Cons in New York, a couple small Comic-Cons and stuff, but nothing like on Gen Con scale, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen now that I can get there. All right, so moving on. This is probably, at least, it's not necessarily we haven't been to Gen Con yet. Next year, we'll go to Gen Con 2021. All right, so everybody out there is loving everybody out there at least should be familiar with the Rime of the Frost Maiden. Some really cool stuff that everyone's coming out with. That's the next, for the unindoctrinated, if you've not been paying attention to the news leaks or the news releases. The Rime of the Frost Maiden's coming out in, I believe, late September. It is the next book to fit on my bookshelf back here with D&D. It's Dungeons & Dragons. It's taking place in Icewind Dale. Basically, it's on the north of the Spine of the World Mountains, and it's going to be a survival horror in the icy wilderness kind of thing. There's a really spooky owl monster on the cover. I'm super excited about this. We were talking about it earlier with Richard there. Anything in particular that you're looking forward to on Frostwind Dale or Icewind Dale? Frostwind Dale.
Polar owlbears.
Polar owlbears.
You gotta go for the polar owlbears.
Yeah. So it should be really cool. But because it's something the whole community seems to be really excited about, at least I haven't been following previous releases as closely as I've been following this one, so I don't know if this is standard for them. But there's been a lot of really cool stuff that they've been posting art for, and including Chris Perkins' Twitter, which if you're not following that, you really should, because he posts a lot of really great stuff. Here, I'll go ahead and drop his handle in the chat there.
And from the chat, we have Mr. Smithwick is looking forward to Vampire Knolls as well.
Oh my goodness, those Vampire Knolls are creepy. Yeah, and I believe in Dungeons & Dragons lore, Knolls are like hyenas or something like that ended up drinking the blood of a demon or something and then become Knolls. And then there's also the added vampire thing, and it's just like, what is happening? Why would they do this? So it should be really cool. So not regular gnolls. Yeah, it's going to be terrible. So Chris Perkins has posted up a couple things that are really interesting. The first one, he described it as if you were to take a wizard has a helmless horror and installs his brain into it. There we go. That is, if you look really closely up there in the brain dome area, it's wearing a brain. So that's not fun. I don't believe I've ever actually dealt with helmless horrors, so they could be a lot of fun. I don't know, but that does not look like a good thing, and I don't want it to be smarter. Another thing, and this one I think is probably going to be more of a crowd pleaser. Icewind Dale is going to be very, very cold. Everybody should know that, and it's going to be a struggle to keep your parties alive, to keep them from just freezing to death. D&D has an answer to that, though, in its bag of tricks. It's the Ring of Warmth, and that's not a new thing. Everybody can, I believe it is still in either the Dungeon Master's Guide or the PHB, but everybody can use a Ring of Warmth. But they've released some beautiful art for one, and everyone just brace yourself, because this is just cloyingly sweet. Here we go, a Ring of Warmth. Look at that. It's got like Arctic foxes on it. It's fur lined. It looks like it's made of wood. That's a ring that I would be okay picking up. It's like, yeah, there's no way that thing's cursed. It's fur lined, right?
It can't be cursed if it's fur lined. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, exactly. Curses don't stick to fur. And then finally, where is it? This is the one that there was another piece of art that I didn't bother pulling. It was like a albino moose covered in blood. Whatever. It's boring. Who cares? Right, yeah, it's like a Wendigo, whatever. Yeah, who cares? The final one that everyone is talking about, though, and I'm willing to believe that this is necessary, has to happen, is the Scroll of Tarask's summoning. Ooh. Do you just want to read that out loud there, Rich, and give us let us see what exactly we're staring at?
Sure. So, using an action to read the scroll causes the Tarask, see creature entry in the monster manual, subtitle Weapons of Magical Destruction, to appear in an unoccupied space you can see within 1 mile of you. The Tarask disappears when it drops to 0 hit points and is hostile toward all creatures other than itself. So you're basically dropping the unstoppable killing machine onto whatever you can see within 1 mile of you.
Yeah, Tarasks are they're Godzillas basically. So I'm excited to see that thing happening. Now, and I'm going to ask for our DM to go ahead and mute his earphones so he doesn't hear this. And I'll wait a second. All right, there we go. So unfortunately, Chris Perkins has come up and said that even though it's in a scroll, it is not a learnable spell for wizards. So you're not going to be able to copy that into your spell book. But no one tell Reed. Just because that's something that I really want to put into my spell book. Overall, though, I think that those are going to be some interesting stuff coming up out of the new book. Just one of the many things I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely going to be picking up the the alt cover, sort of the soft touch, really nice looking, and then probably pick up those dice because who doesn't need more special limited edition dice? What are you most excited about there, Rich?
I like the idea of the horror setting because, like I said, we've done a couple of one-shots lately of Call of Cthulhu, and I kind of like the genre, but doing it in the D&D setting I think would be interesting, and changing it from kill it, take its treasure, or my 19-page backstory to, oh my gosh, how are we going to get out of here?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really nice change of pace because I know a lot of DMs try to do kind of survival problems, and often they turn into a slog. So I'm excited to see how they're trying to revamp those and change up the exhaustion rules and the sort of environmental hazards. They were talking about there's going to be avalanche rules, there's going to be like blizzard rules. excuse me. There's going to be a lot of really interesting stuff coming out of this book.
Yeah, and we had a little bit of that with having to slog through a blizzard chased by an unbelievable horde of zombies in a playtest campaign we were in that DM Reed ran, and that was and so if you start amplifying some of those effects and those issues, that could be a real. It stressed the party. It stressed the players.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting experience.
Exactly. I'm interested to see how they're going to make it so it's not just a, getting you're standing there and getting your kicked in the teeth period, because that's not fun. So balancing between the difficulty and the fun, and the somewhere in there is going to be the bleak darkness of the frozen north. So I think it'll be really interesting. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So you're right. It's a good design challenge. I mean, you don't want to bleak. Okay, I'm going to quit and do something else. It's like they probably need to work you up the bleak challenge. Okay, we solved something. We survived. We did one thing. Oh, now we go to an even bigger, nastier thing. They've got to have to work you up to the level of grief they want to inflict on you, so you don't just leave.
Yeah, so that'll be it'll be interesting to see what happens with it all. End of the day, I'm picking up the book. I'm picking up some of the supplements just because it's beautiful and I really like it.
Everyone remember planning to play in that when you're building your spellcasters. The cantrips that make the other guy save don't get messed up by your exhaustion stats. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. There's too many good tricks for that. Oh, they'll probably actually have a whole bunch of new spells list coming out there too. So it's overall, I'm very excited for Icewind Dale. You all should be too. But in the chat, let us know which of those things that we've gone over, or which things we ignored, because there's a lot of stuff out there. What the things you're most excited about for Icewind Dale, and we'll talk about it, because frankly, it's going to be really cool. But moving on, sticking in the D&D stuff, last week, in the past couple weeks actually, we've been talking about the D&D Beyond updates. The biggest news out there is still their D&D Beyond player tools app, I believe what they're calling it. And it's basically what we all hoped the original D&D Beyond phone app was going to be. Because initially, like the original D&D Beyond phone app is just a digital library within your phone, which is okay. That's fine. But you can't access your player sheets. The Player Tools app, however, does let you access player sheets. And it's been having, unfortunately, it was sort of hamstrung at launch where you couldn't look at things like, you couldn't look at your spells, you couldn't look at what your items were, or the item descriptions, you couldn't look at spell descriptions. And they have, this week, the biggest news there is they've actually changed that. So now spells, equipment, and background descriptions are now available. So have you poked around with the Players app there, Rich?
Not since they fixed seeing the spell descriptions. I did a little bit right when it launched, and it was kind of in the But I'm definitely going to start fiddling with it when I play some this coming weekend. I may be doing more on the phone than I have in the past.
Yeah, I think I might, for Thursday, I might actually give it a try to run Adgern from my phone just to see if it's a doable thing. I think it could be really cool.
Yeah, I admit to being a little surprised because, again, if you've built the website, I would have thought it should be easy to make it into a phone app, but they must have done something clever on the back end that made it hard to port to a phone.
Yeah, and I have Dire Rabbit in the chat saying that I said that 2 weeks ago. I did, and I did in fact say that, and then I tried it and immediately turned it off because it didn't work. It was impossible to use as a spellcaster because I couldn't see what my spells did, and I don't memorize that nonsense.
So it would have required him to have read the rule book to use it 2 weeks ago.
I have.
That just isn't going to happen.
No, I have. Yeah.
Have them. You don't read them. You've admitted it yourself.
I'm working on it. Yeah, so that's the big news coming out of D&D Beyond. There are some dev updates that they're working on. So they're for the tools. One of the things that they're going to be getting in is being able to attune magic items and differentiate between equipped gear and unequipped gear. But that's kind of more bookkeepy. It's not really functional to make the actual game or to make the actual app work for the game.
Yeah, you could live without those features if you get the spell descriptions or the what your action does kind of stuff as popovers when you're using it.
Exactly. So there's a lot of stuff like that that's, I think, going to be like quality of life, make it a little bit nicer, but you can run it without. So I think this is going to be sort of a game changer for the app.
Yeah, 'cause at the moment I mostly use the old D&D Beyond app to look up rules while I'm doing stuff on a game stream now.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's being able to pull up. I try and split screen as much as I can, but I'm honestly just going to get a second monitor here so I can have 4 screens up, basically, because trying to jump around is problematic. But, excuse me again. Oh, it's dusty in here today. I should probably fix that. But yeah, with them moving it to the phone app, I'm excited. It's going to see what's happening. Welcome. Okay, just people greeting each other. No, I don't have. I only have one screen because people are shocked. Or shocked people are surprised by that. Yeah, just people greeting to each other. Hello, Raccoon 3000. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. But yeah,
Carly got here as well.
Oh, excellent. Oh yeah, I see you. Hey, Carly. We'll have you on in a minute. So before we can go over the past couple stories. Let's go ahead and move the Curse of Strahd to the next half, just so we can have Carly to talk about it, because I know she's running that. But for anybody who's not paying attention, Wizards of the Coast has announced. I hate technology; it's the worst. Wizards of the Coast has announced a re-release of the Curse of Strahd. There's a couple big differences there. It's going to be in a softcover book, or it's going to be in a big box that's coffin-shaped. The main book has been split up into basically the adventure itself, a Curse of Strahd monster manual, and a Taraka deck booklet. It's going to have a whole bunch of really cool goodies in it, but we'll go into that when we have Carly on, because I know she's running Curse of Strahd, and I think her opinion's probably far better than mine on this.
She's running Curse of Strahd multiple times.
Yeah, that's that'll tie in nicely to the main discussion. What else we have? Okay, well, Free RPG Day was this Saturday, and I know I went out for hours just chasing down to various stores in my area to try and see what they have. And I'm not going to lie, I picked up lots of stuff. A couple systems I've never played before. I'm excited to play. A couple of systems I have played before. Obviously, the best haul of the night is my DCC free thing. But if you didn't do anything for Free RPG Day, if you missed out on it, it's a great time to get a whole bunch of free stuff. Basically, each store had anything between get one or get one of multiple, or get one of each, or whatever it is you want. So there were games like Goodman's Games with DCC that has a quick start rules in it for players. So if your local store still has it, try and get it off them, because it's a good way to learn. There's the Wrath and Glory, the new 40K RPG. These are just the things I picked up. And these are all things I'm planning on running at some point for maybe on camera. So the new Warhammer 40. I've dropped my mic. Hang on. Sorry.
He wasn't kidding about not liking technology.
It's the worst. All right, there we go. So then there's the Starfinder one. This is the Skittermander's Skitter Home. If you're familiar with the old Free RPG Day stuff that Paizo put out for Pathfinder, the first one that they did, I believe, was Weeby Goblins, or it was one of the early ones that they did. And that was fun and wacky. Everybody played a goblin, and it was sort of the benchmark for that kind of campaign. Skittermanders are cutesy and weird, and I mean, like that gives you everything you need to know about Skittermanders. So they fill that interesting comical role in the Starfinder universe. I of course picked up the Pathfinder one, Little Trouble in Big Absalom. Although as opposed to being, let's see if I can make it. No, there we go. As opposed to being an all goblin party, they're all kobolds, so that'll be fun. And there are murder dolls in there, as hinted by the cover. And then a game I've never actually even seen played. Is the Kids on Bikes. I've heard a little bit about it. It's never really been my cup of tea, but the one I picked up that I'm really excited about is the Kids on Bikes Junior Braves Survival Guide to the Apocalypse. So that just tickled my fancy. I think it's going to be really cool. because I love me a good post-apocalyptic game, and I think it'll be fun.
In case you haven't been keeping up with the chat, there was a groundswell of you owe us a Starfinder campaign, Mac, in the chat when you
Okay,
mentioned
I
Starfinder.
can do it. I have a mortgage payment worth of Starfinder stuff, so sure. Yeah, but we can make that happen. If you guys, but before we do all that, if you guys out there see anything that we talked about that you're really excited about, or the things that you played or that you picked up that you're excited about, again, sound off in the chat. But yeah, I fully plan on trying to run all of these for one-shots on the stream because I think it'll be a good time. Just need to add another day of the week. Yeah. Speaking of games that you may or may not know how to play, but you want to fix that. This morning, we announced that the Games Tavern is going to be starting a Learn to Play campaign for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We recognize that there are a couple people either on the Discord or running around in our orbits that are tangentially people we care about in our lives but don't know what it is we're doing. We decided to try and bring them in. We're going to be running a Learn to Play. We're going to be going through the starter box for the Dungeons & Dragons. It is I'm going to be running it. We're going to be doing the Lost Mines of Phandelver campaign. And it will basically get 5 level 1 players up through level 5. Should be a really fun time. I've never actually run or played Lost Mines. I know a lot of people out there that would say it's one of the best modules after Curse of Strahd, honestly. So both those sound like really cool things up my alley. But if you are interested in learning to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you don't have to be new to role-playing games, but I would prefer people who haven't played 5th edition much before, just because we're trying to get it so it has new players in. Kick Up High is going to be trying to get in on that one. But if you're coming over from a different system, you're coming up from 4th edition, 3.5, you're a white box guy and you've never played anything newer, let us know. We'll be more than happy to try and walk everybody through this, get new people into the hobby and get them going.
What about your mom, Dire Rabbit?
Right. I'd heard something about Dire Rabbit's mom being interested in playing. She's a murder hobo. We can fix that. That's
we heard that too.
Okay. She's a murder hobo who played a ranger. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of people's first characters.
Well, there's levels of that. There's want to murder everything, and when they ask, well, are there rules where I can shoot them in the knees so they don't die right away? Then you really start worrying.
Yeah.
I've had players do that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, if you have your parents, you want to get them into play, and you don't want to run the game because your parents, or you have a partner that you want to get in, or your little kid, your little your kid sibling. I'm not going to run for children. Sorry. If you have some people that are in for run, you want to learn the game and share this part of the hobby, we have plenty of stuff going on there. And cool, the stream elements just beat me on dropping in the Discord. So go there, sign in, go to the Looking for Games tab, and let us know that you're interested in playing. We're going to be probably going to be playing on Mondays, just because every other day of the week we either got a stream going on or it's Friday night, and I'm not going to monopolize everybody's Friday night to learn how to hide in the basement and play games. So you just got simple mouth down, you guys. Yeah, that beats a lot of players, actually. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here just to reset, get pawned onto the screen here, and we'll be back shortly, probably about 10 minutes because I don't know how to work this technology. So in that meantime, guys, let us know what your favorite story is that we discussed. If there's something that we missed, your thing you're most looking forward to coming up with this year, or what you're planning on listening for at Gen Con. Oh, and someone start a heist. I don't know how to do that, but otherwise, we'll see you guys shortly, and be right back. Oh, wait, wrong button. Sorry.
Technology!
Hey everybody, welcome back. I am still Mac. That is still Richard, but now we're joined by Carly.
Hello, I'm here to
Woohoo!
talk about things,
And stuff.
and
So,
things and stuff, and
Multitasking.
Yeah. So before we actually get into the main reason why I wanted to have both of you on, it does tie in very nicely. I wanted to go back over the Curse of Strahd revamped box set because Carly is running multiple. Actually, why don't you guys tell me why your opinions on Curse of Strahd matter?
my opinions matter because I currently run 2 Curse of Strahd campaigns, usually back to back, one on Friday night and one on Saturday night.
And they're right in the same place, right? They're lockstep together, right? Makes it really.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they've like almost completely caught up to each other.
Yeah. I was being sarcastic.
So
I thought that the last we had heard they were like in completely different parts, doing completely different things.
they were, and then one of them decided to skip like pretty much all of the storyline in one of the cities, and now they're like in the same boat. So I have to sit there and be like, hey, so were you guys the ones who found both letters, or was it the other? God, I need better notes.
We haven't found 2 letters.
I have a trick for that.
Is it note taking?
No, God no. No.
That's what I do.
No, before. I don't know if you've noticed, but when I'm running games, I do it looks like I'm trying to refresh the player's mindset. It's like, hey guys, so tell me, what did we do last session? Let's go over this. That's not for them. That's for me.
It is every time. I'm like, do you guys remember what happened? Let's talk about it. How'd you feel about it? Notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but Carol, you're playing one of those games, aren't you, Rich?
Yeah, I'm in one of the Curse of Strahd campaigns. Not the one that found 2 letters. Now we're going to start looking for letters. Not metagaming at all. But but one of the things we do, and because we've gone to mostly online gaming, which I found is, since I'm doing multiple games because we're doing more online stuff, is I'm taking notes by typing into a text file, which I think is working better than trying to scribble stuff in the margins of my character sheet, which I've done in past games.
Yeah.
Although at the end of a long session, when I've had several beers, the notes get gradually less useful as you go along. So one of the sessions into the last bit was like, festival did not go well, which we culminated in fighting all the town guard and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Festival did not go well.
So it looks like Dire Rabbit out there kind of agrees with you in that the first hour or so of note taking is fine, but then as sobriety gets out the window, they become increasingly illegible. Rob is a man of my heart there. Only takes notes if it's something my character would do. That's true for me. However, I make sure that my characters wouldn't do that.
Well, in this case, it's more that because we got some of these are kind of on an every other week schedule, and if you're doing, and I'm doing multiple things, it does keep track. Because not so much with Curse of Strahd, because I've come up with a very unique character, and also doing the dopey voice helps me do the character stuff. And actually, I'm determined I need to do a different voice for every character to force me into the mindset, because I've got 2 other campaigns where one cleric and one wizard, and I'm always thinking, wrong spell, crap, I don't have that one in this guy. So I think I need to compartmentalize my brain by making the one who's a Waterdavian have a dopey Waterdavian accent or something.
Yeah, that's.
You're getting asked for an example in chat, Richard, of your Harbeck voice.
So I decided lower class dwarves, instead of having Scottish accents, have kind of what you call a Minneswegian or the Scandinavian accent. So, like in the Cast of Fire, like, we got some of those up there, but we gotta fight them and shoot them in the face so they don't kill all the villagers. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Just Canadian dwarves.
Canadian
dwarves. I love it.
Kinda. I did watch Fargo to prep for the first session.
Yeah. Well, that's a trick that I learned from my LARPing days. Of if your characters have a distinct accent or at least a distinct speaking style, Not only does it make it easier for you to be able to differentiate in-game versus out-of-game conversation, it also gets you an additional sort of a layer between you and your character.
Oh yeah, I think
makes
it does
easy to
really help.
compartment.
Yeah.
So that's why Adgern has a stupid accent, not because I'm like, hey, you know, it'll be fun.
Accent.
A racist Scottish accent. Let's do it. It'll be great. So it's like, all right,
Well, and the other thing I've kind of discovered is also doing the saying something dopey and fun. Oh yeah, oh you know, that gives me an extra second to figure out how I'm going to say it in the stupid accent.
Yeah, give your character, that kind of filler speech, and it's like, hey, you win. But anyway, we're rapidly shooting past. That's conversation for later. Right now, we're talking about this cool Curse of Strahd revamped box. So both of you are qualified to have an opinion on it. I don't. I mean, I own the book, so qualified. So let's go over this a little bit. It's costing $100 or $99.99, so near enough 100, and it has some pretty interesting stuff in it, I think.
I am excited for the stuff. Like, they are including a foiled Taraka deck.
That's like a tarot deck, is it not?
Yeah, so the Taraka deck functions as a tarot deck, and it plays heavily into the story. And forever, like, they just include pictures of the Taraka deck in the back. You could buy it separately, but like in the back of the book, there's just the pictures of the deck. So having an actual Taraka deck would be super neat, and having it foiled is exciting because I like shiny stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I'm stoked about that, and I'm excited about the updates, like removing some of the racial stigmas and stuff. I think is A+.
Yeah, that's been a problem with sort of the RPG community as a whole. Is especially when it comes to speaking about the Romani-inspired people, because the rest of Europe doesn't like them, and what they know about them tends to be just bad stereotypes. So I'm glad to see that they're going through and trying to correct some of that.
Same. I am also quite glad for that, because that's something like I've made edits to it when I've run Curse of Strahd, like. I've changed some of the books, like there are things that for the Vistani, like they're all inherently evil and stuff like that, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I don't think that's necessary. Like, one, it doesn't matter that much to the players, and two, you can play certain characters that are not all inherently evil or fitting into the stereotypes.
All right, so I think I just dropped something. Let's see if we can actually make this work. Hey, it works. Fabulous. So, up there is just a picture of the entire contents. Unfortunately, I couldn't grab a picture of the box. The box is fancy and coffin-shaped because, he's not Dracula, and I love it.
Not Dracula.
Yeah, he's not Dracula. It's not Romania. It's great. So in there, we have the Taraka deck, which you can see. We have the Curse of Strahd book. Now, this is broken up into 3 sections, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And the main section is like the DM's guide. It's effectively the adventure. The second section is they're calling it the Book of Beasts, I believe, but it's their monster manual for that, which I really like, and I kind of hope they're going to start doing that for more things, because having a monster manual for Baron von, not Dracula. Yes, thank you, Mr. Smithwick. I like having a separate thing just because flipping back and forth between monster pages is annoying for me. And having it as a separate thing is convenient. And then the last one is the Taraka booklet, which you can see there in the sort of the center left below the screen. And then there's also a 4-panel custom DM screen. I don't know what's on the other side of that DM screen. If it's just standard DM kind of stuff, like their standard DM screen, I wouldn't be too impressed because I don't really like that DM screen. But the back is some pretty nice artwork for the players to look at.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it has like conversions that are specific to Barovia. Like, there are massive price differences in Barovia. Everything is like 5 times the price or 10 times the price or whatever. So having like actual price lists instead of having to do quick math when players are like, I want to buy this. And then you're like, oh God, how much is that?
And sorry, just to go ahead and cut in there, we are going to be avoiding spoilers on this. This is just talking about the basically what's in the box. Dire Rabbit is asking us about making sure we don't talk about spoilers. We won't be. We're not going to really talk. We're talking about content in the box, not so much in the book.
Game.
That was like a while ago. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to run something. Come on.
Sorry, I can't read the chat all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, was that a spoiler? I didn't think it was.
No. That is everything's expensive there. No, you got it.
We noticed that. Yeah.
There were a couple times where I've had like different players try to correct me on the prices, and I'm like, no, that's right.
Oh,
I promise.
You want to
You
argue?
file that under it's always shitty in Barovia. Yes.
But no, I think that the Dire Rabbit in the chat also mentioned the welcome cards, the postcards.
I liked them in concept, and then I saw what they actually look like, and
Oh, I didn't see them. Are they bad?
they're right there, actually. The very bottom of the screen, it just says a big piece of Barovia. It looks, they're joke. They don't look like they're in universe. So it's like, greetings from Barovia. Wish you weren't here, and this stuff like that. And it's like, oh, that's kind of not what I was hoping. I was hoping for like a letter from Strahd, or somebody that would invite you to the I want you to come to my little pocket dimension, and we'll have a great time and drink, or whatever. I think that would be really cool.
Drink just
these
wine.
Are still nice.
There's no ale.
He doesn't drink wine. Come on.
Fair.
Although I don't know if that's a joke people get anymore, because Bobby Boris Pickett's kind of not exactly a relevant cultural icon anymore.
Don't tell us. Yeah, no, I am super excited for the revamp, and I'm probably gonna buy the box, even though it's not like there's not a whole bunch of change to the story. I just like having physical things, because when I first heard about the revamp, I thought it was like,
the book
welcome back to Barovia, with a like a new storyline.
I believe that is still coming down the line. Because when they posted the diversity thing about a month ago, diversity statement saying that they're working on future things with the Vishtani, they mentioned that there are 2 things in the works. I think this is one of them. If this isn't one of them, and this is just a freebie for that, we might even get 2 more Strahd things.
That would be super exciting, because I love the setting, and I love, I think one of the things I like about Curse of Strahd the most is that it's so dark. But you can counterbalance it with humor, and it makes the humor even better. And it offers a lot of roleplay opportunity as well as combat, but important. And I just love it.
Yeah, striking that balance is useful.
Oh, by the way, the chat is saying, "Wait, Strahd's a vampire? What the heck?" But you've spoiled it now, Carly.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case,
spoilers.
Since we're talking about spoilers, there's a map. And the map has, I believe, most of the entire playable area of what Barovia and Ravenloft is. Sort of the pocket dimension that you're going to be able to explore in the game. And then the reverse is something for Dungeon Masters only. It's a layout of Castle Grayskull, or whatever it is that he sleeps in.
Ravenloft,
yeah.
Castle Grayskull.
I don't know. What makes you think I've read the rulebook on a campaign I don't play?
Oh, please let the sword we need to get to go after Strahd look like the He-Man sword. Please,
I have the power. But then there is something that they've been keeping close hold on. There's a surprise in the box that they have not talked about publicly. It's not in any of the press releases. It's not in any of the unboxing videos, or the unboxing video. I watched the IGN one.
Yeah.
So and the IGN one you can actually find here. It is on D&D's actual website. But check it out. If you give you all the information we're talking about here, there's actually a really cool interview with Chris Perkins as he's digging into it. Is it Chris Perkins? Was it? I think it was. And I gotta check that. It was. Yeah, probably Chris Perkins. Either that or somebody else who works for D&D. Whatever. I clearly watched these things.
It was Joe Manganiello.
It was Joe Manganiello, yeah. All right. I think that's everything there, so I'm going to go ahead and get that off the screen. screen. There we go. Now you can see a really cool logo. Yeah, it might have been Jeremy Crawford. I don't know. Either way, it was one of the guys who designed it from Wizards actually there talking about it. So it's a really cool sort of way to see what's in the box. You get to see a picture of the cool coffin box. We were actually talking about this in the Discord channel about whether or not we think that this is a worthwhile buy.
Mm-hmm.
Already having the book myself, probably not. It just doesn't seem... $100 is a decent amount of money to drop on something I already have, just to give me a map and some postcards and the cards themselves. That said, if I was gearing up and I had people that wanted me to run a Strahd game in my house, okay, I'd really consider that, because all those really cool tangibles, I would decorate like it's Halloween. It would be fantastic. And I mean, my house is normally like that anyway. I got skeletons and owlbears on the wall.
Skeletons.
So it really does depend on what you're looking for. As a just something to sit on my shelf, probably not. Something I would use, yeah, I think I would do that. But you said that you are interested in picking it up, right, Carly?
Yeah, but I just like collectible things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a problem with books. I collect them, so many books. So like having the tangible book, I don't have the tangible book either though. Like all of my Strahd stuff.
So you need to buy the tangible.
So I want the tangible book, and then the edition. Like I'm kind of bummed that it's soft cover because I prefer hardcover books, but having the extras of like the Taraka deck and the map and all the other collectible goodies, I'm like, yes, I think I will do that.
Yeah, if it was a hardcover or you used like because I think Strahd came out before they started doing that style alt art. If it was the alt art edition of it, or if they release the revamped as an alt art edition, just hardcover, I will buy that up in a heartbeat. Because
I was hoping for alt art.
Yeah, it still might come out. I don't know. But this is dropping in the end of October, so right before Halloween. So ooh.
Oh my gosh, it's dropping my birthday month.
Nice.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, a hardcover alt art on that would be nice. But otherwise, out there in the chat, what are you guys thinking about besides apparently my house is a condo? If you guys... It is. I don't know why that's up there.
Condo.
It is a condo. I own. Shut up. Get off my patio.
Condos.
Yeah, it's great. What about this set, or what do you think about it? Is it something that you would think about buying? What conditions would you pick it up on? Or is this just a pass for you? You're like, nah, I'm good. I don't need that. Let us know in the chat.
Yes, please. Talk to us. Tell us if I'm crazy for owning duplicates of the entire Discworld series because they have different cover art.
I'm kicking myself.
No, you're not.
I'm kicking myself for not having picked up all the books I could in the alt art edition, because they're so nice. The Rime of the Frost Maiden, I'm picking that up in alt art, so now I'm going to need to rebuy my entire collection back there in the alt art, because I'm not going to have weird gaps in my collection that are, it has to be consistent. And I found that there's a Xanathar's Guide alt art also. So, yeah.
The chat just kick up.
What is going on?
Laugh so hard. I overused the term apartment. Oh, kick up high. You're my favorite right now. Thank you. That was a good laugh. Max Condo of horror. That's the whole episode is just Max Condo.
We've devolved. Anyway, so yeah, blah blah blah. Strahd's gonna be cool. On to the questions. So we kind of touched on some of this previously. That's yes. Games Tavern happy hours are basically 2 hours of chat ragging on Mac. That's
accurate.
Yeah, it's not inaccurate.
Yep.
If I had band capabilities, I'd just be muting people all over the place.
Hey, I'll mute them for you.
So yeah, we're talking about the whole reason why I wanted to have the two of you on this whole Strahd business is just a happy accident that timed out nicely. Because if we had you on last week, I would have had to go back and have both of you on my show twice. Gosh, So no,
I know.
what we want to talk about is the fact that both of you have a lot of games going on, and how do you do it? How are you find the time?
I
How you
can quit
balancing
anytime
it?
I want to.
I don't believe you.
That's a problem.
So real fast, both of you,
Ah,
how many games are you running or playing at the same time? And if you're doing both, use those numbers.
that's
So
great.
let's start with
So
Rich. How many you got down there? I think Carly's going to
I'm
take
in.
time.
I am playing in 3 games, but but I also do occasional one shots, and like I don't say no to a one shot that shows up in the Discord of the game Tavern. So call it 3.5 to 4 ish,
Yeah, so 3
because one of the one
campaigns and then
shots went
maybe
5
one shots and
episodes.
two
So yeah,
shots. Yeah, yeah. All right, that seems respectable. It's a lot of dice rolling, but
but
Carly,
it's a
sorry.
lot less mental bandwidth than DMing, I think.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Carly, how many you? What's your?
I am running. I'm actively running 3. I'm prepping to run a 4th.
Madness.
I am playing in one ongoing campaign, and then I have like 4 or 5 one shots that I'm playing in set up for the next coming months. So a lot. I want to run Salt Marsh because Corey, who is on the Velkin Weave, I think runs Salt Marsh, and he's talked about it a couple times, and I was like, that's Ghost Pirates sound great. I should do another campaign. And then I offered it to people, and they were like, yes, I want to do that. And I was like, why do I hate myself this much? 4 campaigns is a lot.
Okay, yeah,
But
that does sound like a lot. Like I'm about to start a second campaign I'm running, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be more work. I don't know how you guys are doing that.
a lot of work. It's worth it though. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't do it if I
I,
didn't enjoy it. That's
The
I don't.
chat
yeah.
highly recommends Salt Marsh, but corrects that it's mostly evil shark people, but a few ghosts.
Dang it, I missed the shark people. I think the best way to balance it that I found is, one, I'm very upfront with my players beforehand, like when we start, about like my personal life, as far as like I have a husband and I have a child and I have a full-time job, so there are going to be times where we're not going to be able to play. And that's just it. Like life happens sometimes and the game can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks. I do my best to be as reliable as possible, but
Yeah, we all have adult, real life stuff we have to deal with, and that's fact of the matter.
yeah. So, and I'm just super upfront about it. And then if I know that it's not going to work out, I try to be as quick as possible. Sometimes things pop up that I forget about, like birthdays.
Right?
Forgot
Yeah,
about my
that
dad's
happened this
birthday.
weekend. But you guys got the game in later. You got it done on Sunday, right?
Yeah. No, we didn't play on Sunday.
Mm.
No, we're just gonna play this week.
Fair enough.
But definitely multiple notebooks. I have so many notebooks that I try to keep separate for each campaign. The hardest is the ones that are the same. Like I'm running Curse of Strahd, Lost Mine of Fendelver, and then I will be running Salt Marsh. So Lost Mine isn't that bad because it's the intro campaign, so it's like I don't have to do a lot of prep to run it because all of the prep is pretty much done for you.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I'm looking at going with Fandelver. I know we got a bunch of suggestions in the staff channels, like, hey, try doing this, try doing that. It's like, maybe later, but as is, doing something that I can run out of the box and not worry too much about having to tailor it. It's like, yeah, make this work.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, and I'm running Lost Mine for like 2 new players and 1 veteran player, but that veteran player's never played 5e before. So it works out great, and it helps me like keep my DM skills sharp and learn things that I thought that I knew but was wrong about too. So
yeah. All right, so we got the games you're running. How about you, Rich? What games are you playing in?
yeah.
I'm in Carly's Curse of Strahd. I'm doing your old school revival, Renaissance. What's the R?
OSR, old school revival, I think is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, and then again, I've got a third game that where I actually designed the character. Maybe I should have done for your old school revival game, but I figured out the design, the guy who could cast all the cantrips in a campaign that a former coworker of mine is started up with a bunch of people he knows on Facebook.
Nice.
It's like, so starting to do that. So I'm
Is that
so
a homebrew campaign or is that based off something in a book?
He's I think homebrewing the adventure, but it's a Sword Coast Forgotten Realms setting.
Very
So
cool.
he used the basic Sword Coast Adventurers Guide, and he's building his own stuff. We're dealing with goblins at the moment.
Ooh.
We're all level 1.
You gotta love goblins. That's a very classic tier 1 adventure or first level adventure. I've been favoring bullywogs recently just because frog people. But yeah, goblins are great for early levels.
I love bollywogs.
So how is with running or with playing in 3 games there, Rich? How are you finding the time to do those? Because I believe that Carly and my game, we both kind of alternate schedules back and forth because there's a lot of overlap between the players.
Yeah, and the other one is an every other weekend one. So yeah, it's kind of chewing up on most weekends, but that's I've got a lot of free time on my hands because I'm not going anywhere these days, and so that's also part of it. I think a lot of the online gaming stuff is one of my main social things in the current lovely environment we live in 2020.
Yeah, it's a great year. Although the sky is now orange outside, I'm not happy about that.
Sky.
Yeah.
But I think
you talked before about some of the stuff I've started doing because I noticed some things again because you and I did the playtest campaign with DM Reed, and he was doing a lot of different campaigns. And so one of my takeaways from that was, he didn't have time to go through 12 different backstories and 3 different groups to try to figure out what, just his bandwidth. So what I did going into the Curse of Strahd campaign is I did a reasonable backstory, but then I sent the cheat sheet to Carly, which is general background. Here are some plot hooks for this character based on the background up at the front of the file. So if you need the reason for the party to not miss the thing they really need to do that they have steadfastly walked past 5 times, use that to get him to go look at it. So that's what I tried to do for this one.
Yeah, I know as a DM, I really appreciate the abstract at the beginning. It's like, hey, here are the 3 bullet points you need to know. Here's my novel that I'm immediately going to go throw in the trash because I'm not going to read. I don't have that kind of time when I'm running 5 other people through.
Yeah, but the novel's also helpful for me to look at why is this guy? Well, who is this guy again? Oh yeah, him. Okay.
Actually,
I've added a whole new subplot of quest for recreating his dad's ale recipe that we're going to center the entire Curse of Strahd activity around.
I'm so excited about that. I encourage backstory for my players for themselves, but please give me bullet points, not the whole thing.
I get you're invested in your character, but
yes.
I have 5 characters plus a whole cast of NPCs I need to be behind. So give me what I need to know, and I can ask you questions if as I need to go further. That's my kind of philosophy on that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I know you were talking about having some kind of confusion, or not necessarily confusion, but probably the wrong word, but having difficulty separating the characters. What kind of solutions are you looking at doing that for that one, Rich? Besides throwing on a silly accent, or you think will that solve it?
Oh, no, the silly accent. Well, what I've noticed is when I don't do the accent, I tend to act more like me. Which
like
and I've noticed that meant in particular I mentioned the campaign with the former coworker that tends to be on Sundays after the Saturday when we play in your campaign, and having 2 somewhat slightly similar spellcasters, though one's a cleric, one's a wizard. I noticed because we've really only done one session in the one the coworker is doing, but I noticed I've got to differentiate these guys a bit more. To make it more enjoyable. So I'm going to figure out whatever stupid accent sounds like Waterdhavian. I think maybe kind of a Dutch lilting something. Oh yeah, we do that back home in our city. Yeah, so something like that.
I was just going like a weird posh British, like, oh yes, I see. Like that would have been my Water Davian, but
Okay, I can try that.
Yes.
but yeah, Dutch is fantastic. Oh, tulips. So, all right. So Carly, you're saying that you have a lot of notebooks, for each campaign.
Yes.
Is that kind of, or is that keeping it up with you? Is that actually able to make it work on your front, or are you running into some issues with that?
The only issues that I really run into on a regular basis are like, other than time constraints, like general time constraints,
Yeah.
I confuse player characters a lot, especially when there's like crossover in the campaigns,
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'll forget as a druid and which player is, are you the barbarian in this one, or are you,
Name tags or silly hats.
Yeah. And the note taking is super helpful. Also, I use Roll20 for maps, and I have separate like campaigns built for each one, so that way, we can just pick up where we left off for this one and this one and this one.
Yeah.
So that helps quite a bit as far as me keeping everything on track.
Yeah, that's something I've been kind of I'm just starting to dabble with Roll20, but once you get outside of the free tier, you actually have like the paid tier. It's like, oh, this stuff's fantastic, and it gives you lots of stuff you could actually use really well. Even if it's just buy a monster manual, it's like, oh, cool, now I have, I can keep track of where all my monsters are and their hit points, and it's super convenient.
Super nice.
Still not loving it, but it's better than it was.
I'm still not loving it. No, that's fair. And like, the thing for me with the digital playing and everything and having that to help balance is I've ran digital campaigns since I started DMing. So, it's not like things changed for me other than like now all of my players are digital instead of half. So I had to figure out Roll20 and that pretty quickly.
Makes sense.
But I just try and keep my notes and only focus on like one thing at a time. So like I have one day of prep for this campaign, and then I have, Tuesdays are prep for this, and Wednesdays are prep for that, and Thursdays are prep for that, if I prep at all. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my pants and I'm like, well, I have my notes, here we go. Which works out great always.
Sorry, I was having mic problems. I figured out what the issue was.
No, you're fine. I could hear it tapping.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have like 3 mics plugged in here. I'm like, which one is the right one? Yes, so Rita's saying it is hard to paint miniatures for Roll20. Not if you try hard enough.
Yeah. If you just paint and then take pictures and then upload them.
I actually have seen people do that. It's not a bad way to do it. Yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Dire Rabbit, that's why I tried to dress up so you remember my character. Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah. She does dress up too. It's fantastic.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah,
I always
great.
encourage it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's did LARPing for years, so yeah, put on a silly hat and that helps. Corey ran an entire murder investigation by the seat of his pants in our Wild Mount game 3 weeks ago. Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really
That's great.
How's his pants? Tore up.
Goodness.
That's funny. Yeah.
So, I guess the big question here though is, both of you are doing. Oh man, sorry. Both of you are doing multiple games. Do you have any advice for trying to keep everything straight, or being able to find the time, or basically anybody else out there that is trying to emulate what it is that you guys are doing? What do you guys think? What advice would you give to someone who wants to do more than one game at a time?
Don't.
Okay. There we go. Have a good night, everybody.
No, it's lots of fun. No.
All right, guys. That's it. Have a good night.
Tavern.
No, but I think it is helpful to have, particularly if you're doing player characters, to have them distinguishable. So you're not, I'm Bob, who's a fighter this week, and the next session I'm Bob, who's a barbarian and acts just like the fighter, or then I'm Bob, the cleric, and forget to cast spells because I think I'd be a fighter. So it's helpful if you really meant to distinguish it.
Yeah, that's...
And again, for me, I found the dopey voice actually helps.
Yeah, having the dopey voice helps. Having them be not you. Make it so that you're not playing just a author insert character. Is something that I found works really well for LARPing, but it works everywhere. Basically, don't just play me in a fantasy world. Play somebody that to make that person work, you have to be in a different mindset. It's not just, oh, how would I react?
Yeah, I think that's helpful.
That guy react. That's kind of my way to do that. Is just do as much separating from me as possible, just to make it so when I put on the stupid hat, I'm going to be Adgern, and we're going to go and do Adgern adventures and steal from everybody, and actually he doesn't really steal a whole lot, but lie to the police or whatever it is that Adgern does. I don't know.
Lie to the police.
He actually's never lied to the police, so that's I don't know why people say he does.
No, he tells them things so unconvincingly they think he's guilty and they lock him up, which is what's so brilliant about Adgern.
That's fantastic. I do voices a lot. I do voice acting, so I like expanding.
I did not know that about you.
I do. I'm on a couple of podcasts and stuff, but so I like to practice my accents with the Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, because like the worst thing that's going to happen is my players or my DM is going to say, I can't understand you and you need to stop.
Yeah.
So, but it helps, like having different voices or costumes or whatever really helps to differentiate, and then I just like to play characters who are reckless, which really helps because then I don't have to be cautious with one and reckless with the other. Like Idata should go pick up the antenna.
I mean, she's very much like the one that just like, hey, there's the gaping maw in the Tomb of Horrors. Armin.
I was just trying to die.
Try harder.
Trying to let you kill somebody, Mac.
Yeah, that dungeon is far less deadly than it's supposed to be.
It's hilarious because someone else in a different version of Tomb of Horrors that I was watching did the exact same thing, and also stuck their arm in the hole. I was like, oh good, it's not just me. But no, I think that having ways to differentiate and not playing yourself, but that's kind of the whole point of role-playing games, is to not be yourself.
Yeah, that's a decent way to describe that one there. Let's see, anything exciting happening that just started playing, but I'm definitely going to be reusing both the characters, Raccoon Folk and a Kobold Rogue. Yeah, using the raccoon actually does do I'm just going to call him the raccoon now, or her. I don't know who that is.
Yeah. He's one of my players.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's your raccoon who bit Arena on the face.
No spoilers. Yes, that is him.
Yeah, reusing characters from campaigns is fine. I know a lot of people have a character that is their character that they play when they play Dungeons and Dragons. Reed. Like that is their character, and they go through, and then they go through different things. I would highly recommend not playing the same character in multiple concurrent campaigns. That would be confusing and hard to to delve out, and it also makes it harder to make their story linearly match up.
I think you're not recognizing Reed's range enough. I think he plays several different rogue archetypes in all the rogues he plays.
Does he though?
Yeah, Ren is a different character in every single time. I'm sorry, my bad.
Every time. Yeah, absolutely. I used to play the same character. When I first started playing, my first character was a half-orc barbarian, because I wanted to be strong. And then after that, I found rogues and sneak attack damage, and that was just all I ever played. I was a halfling rogue for friggin' everything. And then I branched out and got brave and started doing
Sorry, yeah, it's getting really orange out there. I have no idea what's happening.
He also plays wizards, fires, clerics, and every NPC.
Yeah, being a DM doesn't count. But yeah, that's the I've never really fallen into that subscription of like this is my character and this is the adventures that he's going to go on. Like Vin Diesel does that, and if Vin Diesel does it, it's
Works for him.
But that's not the kind of game playing that I do. But it's a perfectly cool way to do it. It's fun and valid, and again, Vin Diesel does it. But I would highly recommend having different characters and different archetypes when you go out into concurrent campaigns. Just because that's makes it really easy to bleed over between, and that's that kind of ruins the fun. I think if you're having to struggle to figure out who you are right now.
Yeah, and branching out is so fun. Like I know that you, Mac, hate all races that aren't originally in the PHB, but in a one shot I'm playing a Leonin monk, and I'm very excited to be a lion.
Mac hates all races that aren't humans or dwarves. To clarify it.
My big one of the big reasons why I put like a limit on other races in even classes in other games that aren't in the main rulebook is just because I don't own those. And I can't read into them. And
so you can't.
I hate tieflings. Tieflings are stupid.
Leonin are lion folk. They were just released in the newest. They released Leonin and satyrs. I always want to pronounce them like satyrs, but it's satyr. So, oh my god, fight me. So yeah, I'm playing the lion folk monk because I wanted to be a satyr monk, but there was already a satyr in the campaign, so I was like, I will be a lion then.
That just feels like the open palm slap from a lion would be far worse.
Right? Thundercats. Oh. I'm super excited about it. But I think just branching out and exploring the different like archetypes and classes and everything can be super, super fun. And you can find things that you thought you would hate but you actually enjoy, or things that you might enjoy that you actually hate, like me and artificers.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Artificers are the worst. I'm working on I have a short list of things that I want to play whenever I get to play a new character, whether it's in Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on the game's Tavern Network, or in whenever I get into a new game. So yeah, maybe I'll play. I mean, not an elf, but something else.
Not an elf.
Elves are. I hate elves so much. But yeah, so there's a lot of fun things you can do, and shaking it up is nice. But I completely lost my train of thought here. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm a tabaxi variant, maybe. Actually, those are the cat people, right? Like this is just
how little I know about the original cat people. Yeah.
Yeah, tabaxi are like dexterous, and Leonin are like strength based. Like that's the main difference. Like tabaxi are like cheetahs, and then Leonin
jaguars.
Yeah, basically. Furbolg. Furbolg.
Now I'm having to Google this to make sure that I'm not, Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those weird like troll monster things. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Giant
Furbolg.
or whatever. Yeah.
I have a Furbolg in my campaign.
Like I like those things being the monsters and the wacky. I like the Tolkien-esque races as the player characters, and then you run. It's like, ooh, there's this fantastical Furbolg village that you run into. Not a troll monster. My bad, giant monster.
Not a troll monster. I don't know. I'm still gonna keep telling you should play in our Curse of Strahd on Saturdays, Mac. But I don't know if I'll ever convince you of that.
Maybe. I'll think about it. Oh, I do my Romanian, nobility accent, and it's just chew the scenery like Bela Lugosi. Oh.
I want to suck your blood.
Is Reed on this one, or is he just jumping on the bandwagon? Because Dire Rabbit's like, join us, and then
I think he's just sometimes. I think.
Yeah, he's piling on.
Do you want him to be? Yes, yeah. Can you just play Strahd whenever they encounter him?
I have the cape around here somewhere.
Yes.
You've LARPed vampires, right, Mac?
Yeah, I have. I've also LARPed vampire hunters. So, and
perfect.
Yeah, I have the hat somewhere back there, but it's heavy and leather, and I'm not putting it back on.
But no, like I think that one of the bigger things to get back on track just a little bit about running multiple campaigns or playing in them is also recognizing your limits. I'm ignoring Reed in the chat because he's yelling about wanting to play Strahd.
I'm just confused what's happening over there because he's like answering his own questions, and Reed's having a good night, I think. So have fun, Reed.
You want me to play Strahd? I will play Strahd. I will do these. But knowing your limitations is super important, and not committing to too many things.
Yeah.
Like some of us may or may not have done.
Well, no. I want to be fair. When we were starting the Curse of Strahd campaign, that we talked about doing every other week, but then it turned out we really had a great time the first week, and everyone was available the next week. We did the next week, so we did a couple of weeks of every week, and then like life caught up, and we made Carly feel guilty about having to say, "Look, I can't do it this week." So I felt bad about that, but we were just greedy because we were having such a good time.
I just always feel guilty when I have to cancel. Yeah, we've got a decent setup. As long as I don't forget any more birthdays, we should be fine.
I mean, you missed mine, so.
I'm sorry, man.
I mean, I didn't tell anybody about it, so it's fine.
Birthday?
Yeah, whatever.
Darn, if we'd only been stalking him in a totally creepy way, we could have sent him something for his birthday. Dang it.
Yeah. Just need to stalk Mac on social media and make sure that I have all of his important dates memorized.
That's fair. Wait,
yeah.
What other important date? Never mind. No, we're done here. We're done with this conversation.
But yeah, that's my biggest advice with all of it is like don't stretch yourself too thin, because it's important to make time for yourself, and also try really hard not to feel guilty if you can't do something or have to reschedule.
Yeah, from a DM perspective, that's often basically a trap that a lot of new DMs fall into, is they feel that everything has to be perfect, has to be on time, it has to be, there can be no room for error there. And then when they inevitably can't live up to that, high ideal of perfection, it all comes crashing down, and then they throw away their Dungeon Master's Guide and go become an accountant somewhere. It's like, yeah, that's
burnout.
Yeah, burnout's awful on that, especially when you're holding yourself to such a high standard and you can't maintain that. And then just the fall is just it's bad. So that's why I introduce all my players with a level of mediocrity, and then maybe something good will come of it. Who knows? It's like, enjoy this bologna sandwich. Surprise! There's actually ham in it this time, but back to bologna for you.
But bologna for sure.
Bologna,
Surprise!
If the expectations low, then you can exceed them easily.
Yeah, just set realistic expectation. That's a big thing, and being communication with your players.
Yes.
Just because there's, it's like, hey, everybody knows that things come up, and nobody here should have this be their life. We're all adults. We all have important things happening elsewhere. So
unless you're getting paid for it.
Oh yeah. At which point it's a completely different thing. But for a hobby, it's like, hey, if there's ever a problem where I'm not going to be able to run the Into the Borderlands campaign, I'll just be like, hey guys, I'm sorry, something's come up, and everyone there will be like, cool, awesome. Rich will just be like, no, what am I going to do with my life? But
I want to play more games. But yeah,
Rich, let me play. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like if you're a player, even if you're only in one campaign or you are in multiple, like be understanding that there are times where life happens and it's a game, and the game cannot take precedence over family or emergencies or whatever.
Yeah, everybody has a bad day, and that's just something to keep in mind.
There are some days where like you could, but you're just so tired that it wouldn't be fun for anybody.
Yeah. So what are we going to get you behind the DM screen there, Rich?
Yeah, Richard, when are you going to DM?
I am looking, and this is where I'm going to worry about my time commitment. During, I think it was the Velkin Weave, we were talking about, and at least two people said they were interested in doing something on a derivative of Call of Cthulhu, but probably the Charles Stross laundry file setting. And there was a limited edition, well, they lost the rights, Laundry File RPG, and I've scored the used source book from that on eBay, and I'll look at mapping that into the Call of Cthulhu rules, and you kind of maybe not really playing the sanity rules or coming up with a variant.
Cool. Yeah, that's. I know you've mentioned Call of Cthulhu a couple times for trying to. You have.
Carly did a one shot.
You
Well,
did.
I did a one shot when I think Carly wasn't available once, and then Carly ran a one shot on the Game Tavern Network that I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
which is why I then later ran a one shot. I think that was the order.
Yeah, I ran the one shot that you played in, which is on the YouTube channel if anyone ever wants to watch it.
YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. Did you know that we have a YouTube channel?
What?
We do. And then he ran the one shot after that in the Games Tavern Discord server where you can come chat with the cast and crew.
I'm trying to pull up our YouTube channel here. Oh, here we go.
Got that great spokesmodel pose.
Yeah. Here we go. So here's our
Yeah.
YouTube channel link. Boom, bam.
YouTube.
YouTube.com/bunch of stuff. And then on
/ lots of letters.
yeah, then because I had to learn this lesson the hard way, I just go ahead and already have this saved. And join us on the Discord. Boom. Man, I'm good at this.
We're friendly and funny
Yeah.
sometimes.
We try. We always are there trying to talk to the community, answer questions. We have the Learn to Play campaign coming up. We still have some open seats for that. So if you, or again, someone you know wants to learn how to play, join up and we'll be more than happy to walk you through it. It's going to be a very hand-holdy, get everybody up to speed. No one's going to be, or I'm not going to be assuming anybody knows anything about the game or how to play or anything like that. So should be a good time to, even if you haven't played in years, to knock the dust off and get out there and go.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what Rich is going to actually end up running though, because I've played next to him a couple times. And he's been in a couple
it's
of
a
games
challenge.
I've run.
But I have a lot of ideas, but I don't think I'm as gifted a storyteller as a lot of people DMing are. So this is going to be a challenge. I need to try to get the not focus on the details and get the big arc of the story in the way that I see some good DMs like you and Carly do.
Oh, I'm flattered. Yeah, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can offer to new DMs is your first time doing it's going to be awful. Just own it. It's going to be bad, and everyone at the table knows that, and they'll just move on. It's not failing as a DM for having your first session be not like the perfect thing ever, not being Matt Mercer. No one's expecting that. Everyone's expecting you as a new DM to make new DM mistakes, make oh, I forgot this thing or I forgot that thing. As long as everyone has a good time, who cares? You'll get you'll get the rules right later. Worry about making sure the party dynamic is good or making sure everyone has good banter back and forth.
Sometimes you'll accidentally tell them every time a wardrobe is empty for an entire 2 sessions, and
excellent.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what you get off the ground there, because I definitely want a seat at your table or virtual table. Cat.
Oh, cool. I'll keep you in mind. Like I said, hopefully I'll get the book this week, and then I can start laying out how that system maps it. I don't know. Are you familiar with Charles Strauss's Laundry Files books?
I'm not. No.
Mm-mm.
He's actually the guy very early. He created the Gith Yankee for the original Fiend folio, but he's a Scottish science fiction writer. He's about the only science fiction writer who I've never wanted to throw one of his books across the room and scream that won't work. But the premise is that Turing and other people discovered that advanced mathematics weakened the boundaries between worlds, and the ancient, evil, horrible things that inspired Lovecraft are what's there that come through if you run the wrong computer program.
Yeah.
So the setting is he's in one of the secret intelligence organizations of World War II that were supposedly disbanded, leaving only the security service and the secret intelligence service after World War II. Well, one of those that was supposedly went away is the one that deals with the occult threats and tries to stop it from happening.
Kind of like a Hellboy kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. But it's all set. But so you're dealing with unspeakable horrors that get summoned by technology and mathematics and British bureaucracy.
Yes.
I'm sold. But that sounds like
Same.
An awful.
I recommend the books highly. Yeah.
Excellent.
That sounds like an awful time.
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, done.
Need to read.
Oh, thanks for joining up on the Discord there, the raccoon. Glad to
Yeah.
have you on.
Whoop, whoop. Now he can see me talk smack about him and his compatriots to everybody else. Just kidding.
We barely do that kind of thing. Let's see. I've been ignoring the chat for a bit here. Don't make promises about the BBEGs. Something from Stream Elements. Can confirm that's why the first game I ran was for a bunch of new players, so there was zero expectations. Ha 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 ha. Well done, Dire Rabbit. Yeah, no, that's I fully agree. That was garbled and delayed. What was that book series again there? The Laundry Files?
Oh, yeah, I'm just about to drop a link for the first book.
Oh, excellent.
No, dang it, that's the search term. Give me the link. Sorry. Have cache problem.
I'm like sitting here looking at the chat, like, now I want the link.
Yeah, so the other thing he did is he started out, and he has changed what genre he writes the books to be kind of a send-up of.
Really?
So he started out kind of doing the Lynn Dayton Cold War spy novels from the British with the subdued guy and everything. But then, like, by the third book, he was doing a spoof of a James Bond book, all in this setting. And then about 3 or 4 books later, he did kind of a superheroes, but all managed to work it into the setting. And then it's after that, did he do vampires before or after the superheroes? But yeah, he keeps reinventing what trope he's going to write the books around.
I love it.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're really great. I enjoy them.
You have to
fantastic.
Read into that a little bit. Because I know that's something that we're trying to get kicking off, is being more literary focused, or being more literary aware, at least here on the Happy Hour. So I know next week Rob and I are going to be talking some Tolkien, so that should be should be fun.
Cool.
But we might be able to get Laundry Files into there, because we're trying to go through like the history of influencing stuff. We did Beowulf and sagas and stuff a few weeks ago, a month ago. I don't know. Time is meaningless.
It was a bit ago.
Yeah,
and I do have to warn you about book 7. They run into elves, but they are bad. So.
Oh, okay, I'm down.
They fit into your pre-generated racial stereotypes of elves.
No, my problem with elves is that they're better than humans in every single way on the gaming tabletop. That's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like it's like, hey, I have an elf army. Oh, cool. Your unit costs the same as my humans. Yeah, but they shoot better and fight better and get killed less and they're faster. And it's like,
it's because humans are boring, and elves are great.
Okay.
I didn't see the death rays coming out of Mac's eyes.
I will kill a Dada. Problem solved.
Dada's gonna die next session. Dire Rabbit. Wow.
Happy Hour just turned into the Fight Club.
One day, Mac and I will punch it out about elves, but it will not be today.
No, it's too far away between us.
Dwarves are awesomer, Yanzam. I agree.
Yeah,
Dwarves are cool.
I like elves. I kind of like elves. But I like dwarves. I like humans.
Yeah.
I also hate tieflings. They're part demon. Like, why would you not like or not dislike those?
Because they're super cool.
They have horns. They're cool.
Horns and tails, and like cool racial abilities, like hellish rebuke.
Also, don't like dragonkin.
You know what? Breath weapons are the neatest. I don't know what to tell you about that. It's not their fault, Mac.
All right. Well, while I'm alienating our,
I was gonna say we have derailed so far.
No, I mean we ran out of content 10 minutes ago, so now it's just.
Yanzam, I feel attacked by you calling tieflings meh.
Tieflings are at best. They're demons.
They're neat.
Yep. They're cool.
Yeah, dragon. I like you, Yanzam.
The chat is rebelling. I'm the new host of Happy Hour. Sorry, Mac.
It's been voted.
It's me. It's canon now. You've been voted off the island.
Anyway,
kidding.
I mean, I moved you off so you're somewhere else unless you fix that.
Yeah, nobody sees my face. That's fine. I respect it. I've been
Uh,
fired.
There we go, I think. There we go. All right, now we're back. Okay. Yeah, so I think that, it's we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes here, so unless there's anything out there you guys want to shift the conversation towards, we can just keep wackily bantering back and forth all day.
Yeah, we can make fun of Mac all day.
As long as it gets those views, baby.
This is anything for the views. Are there any questions in chat?
Yeah.
Anybody wanna?
Tell us about the characters you want to play. If Mac were a dog person, he'd be a saint. Like
a Saint Bernard?
Like, I'm confused.
I am also confused by that statement.
That was a confusing statement. Way to go, the Ardent.
The Ardent. Saint Mac of Woof Woof.
Yeah, I like dogs. I'm a professional. I'm out of the office or out of the the condo 10 hours a day. I can't take care of a dog.
But cats are better.
I think the tell us about the characters you want to play was probably directed at me, I'm assuming. I do have two cats, Yanzam. I don't know if you've seen them running around and screaming. It's great. I'd probably a human of some flavor. That's always fun. I don't think I've ever actually played a new kids game. Pond is awesome. What? So I've probably a paladin. A classical trope paladin probably wouldn't be bad. I don't know what that would actually break out to be in 5th edition, but yeah, probably something like that. Just I like running around with the standard tropes. I've also never played a rogue. Maybe I'd do that, but depends on what the party needs. I'm willing
the
to.
Special paladin, oath of slaughtering everyone you don't like.
That's vengeance, is it not? Or oath of rage, or oath of being not evil, but I'm evil. Like whatever. I don't understand paladin oaths.
I can't believe you've never played a rogue, Mac.
The exception to that is when I was LARPing, I played a dwarf rogue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm 6'4" for anybody who's keeping track at home. It was great. I had a big bushy beard with it was yarn and came down like my belly button.
That's fantastic.
And everyone's just like, "Oh, who's that guy? Oh, whatever. Who cares?" And just walk away holding their belts. I'm like, "Well, they're stupid. So these are mine now."
These
are. Yeah. It's super easy to take things off LARPers. Be like, "Hey, can I hold on to this?" "Yeah, sure. Okay." "Hey, why are you taking that?" "Oh, they need it over there." "Oh, okay. Have a good day." It's like,
bye. I know it's mine.
Yeah, that was actually kind of a proto-Aggard. Now that I think about it, because I used the same accent and just shitty and bad.
Well, I heard you say once back. Did you say that you designed the characters to fit the accent you have in mind or think you can do?
It's what I can do. All right, now who would have this accent? Because the last main LARP character I played was basically like a peasant militiaman, but I put on an outrageous German accent and ran around in tights and all sorts of Landsknecht gear and had a giant halberd and then a giant two-handed Zweihander with the Flambergista. It was fantastic. I loved it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that the raccoon's enjoying this. Please come back. I'm super excited to, it's always glad to hear new people coming in. Feel free to follow us, or if you're really enjoying it, subscribing. If you have Amazon Prime, we do have the ability to do the Twitch Prime, I believe is what that's called, where you get one free subscription a month, and that does help the show, gets the production values up, and helps bring in this high quality banter that you guys enjoy. Other ways to support the show, of course, check us out on the Discord. We love having people stop by there, join in on games that we're running in the chats. It's always a good time. We also have a Patreon, which I'm going to flub here. Let's see if I can actually make this happen. Here we go. Patreon, I believe it's just The Games Tavern Patreon. We have some cool supports and rewards coming out of that. Otherwise, you can find us here on twitch.tv/The Games Tavern, on Twitter, and I believe that's Instagram logo at The Games Tavern, and then on Facebook, The Games Tavern. So there's a lot of ways that you guys can get in contact with us, and we love hearing from you. We love all the support our fans are giving us. The community is great. And the banter does continue on the Discord, so you will not be disappointed.
Yes, it does.
It's pretty bantery.
Yeah, that's like 90% of what it is. Banter.
Just weird banter.
5% arguing about rules. 10% just angry at elves. Yeah.
Angry at elves.
Makes
That's
it
just all Mac.
105%.
Also, don't ever ask Mac about leather armor.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Leather armor has been banned from the Discord.
Okay, a question whether we are working on any homebrew in the chat.
Yeah, I am kind of the Into the Borderlands OSR campaign is heavily homebrewed. It's taking a lot of modules and clicking them into things, but the overarching story and stuff tying that together are homebrewed. The dungeons aren't, but everything else kind of is.
And the forbidden love of Rogan and Zeligar, of course.
Yeah, I kind of regret not scrubbing that off the floor because there's just like a curly R and a Z. It's like, why is this here? That's not what's supposed to be happening.
We so focused on that so much.
You're like, this is not a clue I was expecting you guys to find because I didn't put it here. R and Z forever, yeah.
Forever.
But how about you, Carly? You doing any homebrew stuff?
Yeah. I have a homebrew world that I've been working on since like last year, and it's very large and very sandboxy, and there's overarching plot line, but it's called the whole continent is Krigira, and there's an area of the wilds, and then there's like sea folk, and there's elves who sort of rule it, and they're trying to take over everything, and because elves are jerks. It's funny, I argue that with you, Mac, all the time, but
they are.
A high elf is like the main BBEG of my homebrew. So yeah, and then I've found that with homebrew, if you can click modules into the homebrew, that is so nice. Because for a while I was like, I have to write everything, and then I was like, wait, no, I can just drag and drop, and it helps quite a bit.
Yeah, especially when you're playing something like Dungeons and Dragons, where there is tons of old content and the systems themselves aren't too different from 3.5 to now.
Yeah.
It's not too hard to be like, all right, I see what they're going for here. I'm going to polish this to make it a 5th edition Furbolg or whatever that is.
Yep. And there are websites. Am I allowed to like talk about different websites? That write homebrew content that isn't broken, or they'll like write small modules and adventures that you can go and get like for free or for a couple bucks, and then if you like it, you can just drag and drop or change it up, use the character as a reoccurring bad guy. I did that with a Christmas one shot where yeah, we did. It's called God, what was it? The Lich Who Stole Christmas, and everything rhymed. Yeah, like all of the descriptions rhymed, and then there was a Christmas tree ent that they had to fight. But they fought the Lich, and then the Lich is going to return next Christmas, and they're going to have to battle their way through.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great. But that's about it. What about you, Richard? Homebrew stuff?
The main one I already talked about, that I'm looking at trying to do the laundry files in Call of Cthulhu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to work out. So Yonzam's saying that DCC is perfect for drop-in homebrew adventures. It absolutely is. For those of you not in the know, DCC publishes like old school TSR where they just release, hey, here's a dungeon. Here's what's happening in this dungeon. Here's who lives here and why it's here. But they don't produce, or they do produce a couple, but for the most part, they don't produce the Strahd campaign. They don't produce the the Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign. It's like, no, here's a dungeon. Here's some stuff that happens. You figure out how it happens there.
Enjoy.
So yeah, we need to play more DCC. I think is the thing. We'll save that for later. Anyway, we are rambling and we're off. So again, please check us out on our Discord, everybody's. One more link for you guys. Here we go, Discord. Check us out on the Discord. The conversation never stops there. Party, blah blah blah. It's great. Everyone loves it.
It's always party stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we also have the on again social medias. We have a Patreon. We have a YouTube. We have all the great ways that you guys can get in contact with us. reach out to us on any of those, and we will be more than happy to talk to you guys and see what we can do to make your day better.
Heck yeah.
And roll
We're
dice and stuff. Yeah. All right. Otherwise, unless there's nothing else from the chat, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Tomorrow night.
Good being here.
Yep. Tomorrow night is the Velkin Weave starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time. So 7 p.m. Eastern America time is the Velkin Weave. And then I believe they just had some fun with the frog races at the Fey Market, and they may or may not have gotten themselves in some kind of trouble there.
Lots of trouble.
Lots of trouble, yeah. And then Thursday, we're doing Whiskey, Magic, and Destruction again, where we just killed some 2 giant Bahir monster things in the Dwarven mines. And we're getting the next clue as to how to find the lost city of the Dwarven runes that we're trying to find. So it's a good time. Otherwise, we'll see you guys around. So thanks so much for tuning in. Everyone have a good night.
Adios. Goodbye.
Bye.